This is the mash that we feed to our chickens, and it's made up of bran and crushed oats, and to moisten it we put in the whey that's left over from making the goat's cheese. And when we first started doing that, we realised that there was still quite a bit of curds, very fine curds left in the whey, and we thought that that was a bit of a waste, and we needed to find a way of being able to extract those curds and make them into a cheese. So back in the kitchen we're going to show you how to actually do that job and to make a ricotta cheese. In the pan here we've got 10 litres of milk that's been allowed to separate into curds and whey, and on the top we've got the curds that goes into making the cheese, and underneath there we have the whey, that's the clear liquid. So what I'm going to do now is take off those curds at the top and make them into a hard cheese, and then we're going to check the whey underneath, and if there's a reasonable amount of fine curd left in there, we'll use that to make ricotta cheese. As you can see, we've now put the curds into cheesecloth and into sieves, and they're now straining. This is the curds that were in the strainer earlier on. We've strained off all the whey from them. That'll go off to make a hard cheese now, and we've put the whey back into the pan along with the rest of the whey that didn't go through the strainer. Now I'm just going to show you inside the pan here to show you how cloudy the liquid is. So as you can see, there's very fine curds in there, also a few bits of lumps as well, and we're going to heat this up to 93 degrees centigrade, and then when it gets to that temperature there's a secret ingredient we're going to add to it. Well, the temperature's now just come up to 93, just over 93 there, and that means I'm going to turn the heat off this, take it off the heat, and I'm going to add the secret ingredient. Well, it's actually vinegar, cider vinegar, and we're going to measure out for the 8 or so litres of whey that we've got there, 60 mils. Now if you're in America, that's one of these, that's a quarter cup, and in terms of temperatures that we raised the whey to, that was 200 degrees Fahrenheit or 93 degrees centigrade. So here goes, we'll add this to the whey. Well, we'll leave that for a few minutes, and if it's working then the fine curds will start to precipitate out. The whey's now been standing for an hour, and as you can see it's turned yellow. It does that when it's been heated up, but also you can see it is quite clear because the curds themselves have now precipitated out, as you can see, and we're now going to strain these through a double thickness of cheesecloth and a sieve. As the whey passes through the cheesecloth and the sieve, it leaves behind the curds, very fine curds, and this will thicken up further as more of the whey drains through. Well, it's now finished straining, and as you can see, lots of cheese, lots of ricotta cheese, nice and soft. Here's the whey, and as you can see it's a much clearer liquid now, virtually no curds at all left in there, and that will be used to go in our poultry mash, but we also use it in baking as well. There we have it, 6 tubs of ricotta cheese from the whey, and previously, before we learned how to make ricotta cheese, that lot there would have stayed in the whey, and the whey would have been fed to our poultry in the mash. And if you look at that now, you'd think, what an incredible waste. That is a huge amount of cheese, relatively speaking, from what is actually a waste product for us. So we're absolutely delighted that we've learned how to make ricotta cheese. Now, those 6 tubs are actually going tomorrow to a swap event that we're going to, and we'll be swapping it for other people's produce, such as vegetables and fruit and so on, stuff that we may not have grown ourselves. And since we are going to be the only cheesemakers at that event, then we've got the cheese market cornered, and we're rather looking forward to seeing what we can buy, or buy in inverted commas, barter really, with our cheese.